last thing after we talk about Wayne's World. It's back, and it's back for a Super Bowl ad. This is from Screen Rant once again, and it's in an Uber Eats advertisement that aired during the most recent episode of SNL. Mike Myers and Dana Carvey brought Wayne's World back to life. It's just for a brief moment, and the ad Myers and Carvey as Wayne and Garth lament sarcastically about the past year and tease more Wayne's World ad content to appear in the Super Bowl, saying, "We'll see you soon for the game and the big bowl." Although it's not the full sequel that fans might have hoped for, audiences have a chance to embrace two of their favourite characters again, while fans have long requested a third instalment in the Wayne's World franchise.
Weird, man.
There's been no real talks of another sequel. On the bright side, Tia Carrera has gone on record to say that she's open to doing another film, so there might be hope yet. However, it doesn't bode well that Wayne's World 2 did not do as well as the first film, nor that since the first Wayne's World, none of the many subsequent films based on SNL sketches performed well financially, John. It was something that I've hoped for a very long time. Probably during Mike Myers' Austin Powers days.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't want him doing a third Austin Powers film. I really didn't want him doing a second one, to be honest with you. I liked the first one. It was one of those characters, like So I Married an Axe Murderer, a one and done sort of character. Keep it contained into one film, and it will be remembered forever. Those films will be remembered forever. I'm not saying that, but I really did want a third installment. I loved Wayne's World 2. There was something about it. Yeah, it didn't have the sort of originality of the first movie, and it was kind of a bit like Home Alone 2. It was just a regurgitated version in different circumstances, but the story was the same. I still loved it. I loved all that pulling Wayne stock together, all the cameos that were in there. Charlton Heston did an amazing cameo. And I just loved it, and I always wanted a third installment. Looking at photo, like you mentioned, John, it's too late. It's far too late. I don't really want to see these guys in the condition they're in now. Dana Carvey's in his 60s now. Mike Myers, I think, is a little bit younger, but he's looking a little strange looking.
It looks like a...
There is another important thing, John, I don't know if you're aware of. There was a bit of friction between both actors for a long time, and it was based on Mike Myers. His interpretation of the Dr. Evil character was actually something that Dana Carvey had created for a long time ago, and I think there was a little bit of friction between both of them that he never asked Dana Carvey if he could borrow that interpretation. I think it was of Lorne Michaels, the SNL guy. And I think there's actually an interview where Dana Carvey's on what's that, a shock jock in the US called again? Guy with the curly hair.
Oh, shit, I'm blanking his name. Terrible.
Yeah, I his name as well, John. He's a famous shock jock as well. But he had an interview with him anyway, and I think he's been very polite about it. Dana Carvey comes across as a very sincere guy and doesn't like to upset people, and didn't really want to fill the shock jock with gossip, etc. But you could tell that he was very uncomfortable with some of the line of questioning.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Steen, look, I didn't realise that about the bad blood between these two guys. That's interesting. The fact that I didn't even realise it was.
I don't think they're now, John. I think the two of them do got in now, but I think there was possibly in the early 2000s there was a little bit of friction between both.
Well, you can understand he's stolen his creative idea, and obviously he's made millions off of it, or at least hundreds of thousands of dollars off of that character. That character's became a pop cultural sort of meme at the very least. I don't know about this. I don't know if I want to see a Wayne's World 3. It's very strange the way they look. Mike Myers looks like a Native American. He's always becoming one of his own characters. It's slightly fucking strange, to be honest. To put it bluntly, he looks weird. His hair's way too dark. He's way too tanned.
It's Howard Stern.
Howard Stern, yeah, the great Howard Stern. How could I not think that guy's name? I thought at September 11th, and I think he done a show while it was happening.
Yeah,
and then that
was amazing.
Yeah, that was incredible. And he was basically talking about how things had changed irrevocably. He's a great radio presenter. He's been doing it for years and years and years. I don't know if I want to see this, man. It's interesting seeing the two back together, bouncing off each other for this commercial, though. That's what the Super Bowl's all about. It's about getting these things back, sort of pop cultural things back, and letting us see them bounce off each other. Maybe they're testing the waters to see if there's enough interest there to maybe make another movie. They'll be looking at Keanu Reeves and what he done with Bill and Ted 3 and seeing if he can maybe get the gang back together. But I don't know if that would work. I just think it's of its generation. Would younger generational people want to watch it?
Mike Myers, out with his own sort of creations, he's not really done a lot, if you know what I mean. He's out with his own sort of writing. He's made little cameos in the likes of Inglourious Bastards, which was a great cameo, and also the Queen.
Bohemian Rhapsody, he played the producer.
Rhapsody, the producer.
Colour haired guy.
Had a nice sort of bit of irony to, obviously, with the Bohemian Rhapsody thing that he did in Wayne's World. I actually read something the other day which I never knew.
He brought it back in, didn't he? He made that song popular again.
He got a copy of that sequence just before he sadly passed away, and he loved it. He absolutely loved that sequence in the car with the head bobbing thing going on, Bohemian Rhapsody, and approved it. I never knew that. I never thought that Freddie Mercury actually got to see any of that film because it came out early 1992 over here in the UK. Yep.
He passed away.
He had sadly passed away in December 91, or November 91. So I never thought he got to see it. So I was very happy to see that he actually got to see that sequence and he loved it.
Yeah, he was a big fan, wasn't he, of Queen, Mike Myers? And you're right, he's not had a huge amount of roles either recently, but he's been great in the two cameos he's had. That bit Inglourious Bastards one was immense. So certainly still got the talent. I mean, he's a very funny guy. If he puts his mind to it, I'm sure he could do something interesting. We could maybe get it back together, but my fear would always be Dumb and Dumber 2.
Yeah, my fear. I've always said that So I Married an Axe Murderer is one of my favourite films.
Incredible. Bagpipe Solo.
Most people do relate to Wayne's World or Austin Powers, but there's something about that film that's so rewatchable. I think it may be the Scottish thing.
I think of Shrek.
That's it.
Right away when I think of Mike Myers. Yeah, I mean, that character. Did the original Shrek not get put in the archive? That's famous archive of movies. I think that get added in recently. I may be talking absolute shit, but I think it did.
I would believe it would.
I think
it was
did.
A classic film.
Yeah. But look, we'll not talk about that because that will get us on to Star Wars again. And of course, George Lucas, he didn't send the right copy to the archive. Little shit that he is.